because it's.
The major mode and the major
Well,
This.
chord. I mean,
well, a mode is a group of 7 sounds.
you know, what's the difference between a major scale? That's 7 as
The
well.
major scale is the scale, but the scale comes in 3 modes, in 3 variations. So it's like having chicken soup with tomatoes, chicken soup with onions, and chicken soup with lemon. It's the same natural. The harmonic one, you lower the 6th step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 becomes flat. And the melodic one,
6th and 7th.
that's the melodic one.
That I know. Yeah, that I know.
But you're coming along very well.
And harmonic, E and H.
So it's a lot of information for my little.
For your little brain, yeah, your brain is good.
A and
So let me, I just want to show everybody what they need
So there's one.
Can I take this, David, when we leave?
Can I what?
Take that paper on the wall?
Oh, definitely, I'll sign it for you.
You will?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything for you.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I upset you. I know I caused tension between us.
But it's musical tension, and tension can be happy, you know?
And tension and release.
Tension and release. Let's not go there.
Huh?
You're funny.
No, I know. Look, this is what happened with Simon, David. This is how I knew I loved music.
Tell me how you love music.
I'll
So,
show you.
And then this is a pair.
I said, Simon, I came up with a new practice progression. D,
Yeah.
D minor, A minor, E minor. He says, switch E to an A minor. A is 5 in the key of D, so the natural tension of 5 resolves to the tonic D. 5 resolves to 1. That's when I knew I loved music. I don't know what it means, but
exactly.
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
so then I smarted off and said, oh, so the natural tension of 5 is dominant, and he says your minor doesn't have a C sharp, so I don't call it dominant. If you change the C in the chord, it really.
No, don't go to dominance. Don't go to dominance yet. Come. All right, we're ready to start.
Are you taking this?
Good. How you doing?
Fine.
Now comes the fun part.
Oh, great.
Good. So we're gonna. Thank you for helping me. That's very helpful. And harmonic is like a harmony. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, for you it's easy because it's all numbers. Music is numbers.
yeah.
So you should have no
Can
problem.
I leave 5 for the manual?
No. I'm gonna explain when everybody comes. So people that were not here last time have to give me $15 for the C major manual, lesson 1. Today's lesson that has manual 2, it's with the lesson today it's 30. And the second part, the music theory that we're doing, the theory of intervals, is 20. So figure out whatever combination applies
You
to
said
you.
15 at the beginning for the manual.
No, I must have, no, it's 15 for the one from,
Oh, okay. 20 for today's
yeah,
manual?
yeah. And from last time it's 15, okay? So figure out the combination.
That's the combination.
Good, thank you, sir. Let me write it down. Last time you were here, so it doesn't apply to
Enjoy
you.
that song.
So today the lesson is 30 plus the manual, the line minor,
I'm not this far
plus
along.
20 for
I'm
the
just learning
music,
minor.
the interval.
Scales.
Well, give it to me next time when I see you next Thursday. Don't worry about it. Let me just write things down because I'm gonna forget everything. Yeah. It's okay, it's not a problem. Okay, so let me get my
You
glasses.
said we need to focus and.
I know. I'm losing
Get
my.
off my door, she's got
Oh.
a picture. I don't know whether she just don't like.
So
the
Steve,
sound I
what
make
did you give me today?
Or what?
Nothing.
Would you lose?
Okay,
No, I have 40.
okay, so give me 40 and you owe me 10.
Your pen? Pencil?
40, I'm putting here 40 and 10. Perfect.
Put it in your pants pockets?
See why I do this? This way I deal with everybody in a very
Oh,
easy way.
yeah.
Lois, where are you, darling? Perfect. So Lois, 100% satisfaction. Okay.
John, 100%.
Thank you. Lois did it. Who's next? Michael. Michael is here. You need change?
So, yeah, I probably only $5.
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm gonna, I guess, get the whole sheet.
I could be a little
Easy
check
for
for
that.
that. Checks,
Thank you.
but I didn't bring it with me.
Thank you. So I have to give you 5. Are you okay with a 5? Is good, or you need singles?
No,
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
I have to decide how much I'm supposed to pay. But this year's schedule,
One second. Let me finish here.
That was for the first class schedule.
1 second. So,
This is the schedule.
so 15 for the last one, that's 50. So you, Michael, I think it's, I think it's
all
15 plus, were you at the class last
I
time?
was not.
So then it's 50 plus 15.
65 and I gave you 70.
Oh, you did, okay. I'm not even looking at this, I
Yeah,
trust
I
you.
wasn't here.
So,
But
you gave me
is this
70
the schedule?
and it's
See, I
65.
can read all this
Thank you.
writing.
Thank
None
you.
of that is like, it looks like a schedule.
And John, you gave me everything?
I did, I'm good.
How much did you give me?
I gave you 30 and then 20.
Hey.
A 20, a 10, and a 20.
And that's how you learn, because he remembers what he gave me, you know? That's how you learn. So felicitas. Dios
Yes,
es.
you know, I wrote a check last night.
20, 10.
I think I need the manual you read.
Yeah.
It's the
I
big
can help
dollars, right?
So
I
you're
need
learning
to-
Oh,
flute,
you're
what did you
gonna
say?
check?
Some type of thing?
Oh, I mean, how
I
much
played
is
saxophone,
altogether? I
West played
should
for a long
be-
time.
So-
I'm trying to flute.
Oh, you give me the, oh, yes. So
Yeah, I
give-
give you this
Saxophone.
one.
Oh, you gave me this one. So give me a check for 20. We're good.
No, the one in
You
the
don't have
masters.
cash, do you?
No.
Okay, so give me a check for 20.
I think it's bass sax.
Yeah.
Probably baritone is
Okay,
more
yeah.
common.
Do I have time?
Yes,
Shall we start now?
Crook in it.
And it goes,
Yeah.
come, like a goose and a duck in between, kind
It's,
of,
it's pretty reedy.
pretty cool, yeah, pretty real.
Right? So you bring in this.
I have $20.
Perfect, I'll wait for
But I
this.
gave,
Yes.
I paid.
Thank you.
Okay,
So I'm gonna
I
write
paid
for you
the-
20,
yeah.
45 check
Yeah.
and 20 cash. Perfect.
Yeah.
We're done. I'm sorry to take this.
Here
Where's,
you go. So I
where's
can
my
split,
son?
okay, I gave you 30 to Fran last time.
Yes,
I didn't come, but.
you
she-
did.
She gave you
So that's perfect.
30, okay,
Perfect.
but how much more do I owe you?
Well,
I'm just
today
gonna
is,
write you a check.
today's the 30, like last time, plus the 20.
Okay, do I come to all those lessons?
Which
Is
ones?
this your writing?
Yes, it is. Well, if you can, would be good, you know, it's up to
Or do
you.
I just pay each time or
You
what?
pay as you go, you don't need to pay in advance, because people have different schedules.
Okay, so you will tell us?
Yes, I will communicate by email today or tomorrow.
So
when-
just pay for today?
Yeah, yeah,
How much
absolutely.
Did you say it's 50?
Yeah,
50, okay, just
so
a minute.
I'm gonna put here 50 check. Perfect,
Let's see. I
thank you.
started the check already. So.
I understand that. So that's that. We're almost done. And Steve,
Well, I can get you the money today. if we-
yeah, don't worry about it.
No, I can.
It's only $10. Okay, you did this. So we're done basically with everybody. Good. So we're gonna just wait for Felicitas, and we're done. Good. So now what we're gonna do is, this is a very interesting part that we're gonna work on.
Just a minute, I'm done almost.
Yeah, yeah, take your time.
We're missing one of our patients.
No, she's coming in 2 seconds. I'm just preparing myself.
This is a gel, so.
A
has to
jail?
dry.
What is a jail?
You know what I mean?
It's a gel
Don't-
pen.
Don't rub it, yeah.
Oh,
It'll
dumb.
smear, it'll smear.
I see. So leave it here so he doesn't. Yeah.
Just like the Constitution, they didn't touch it once they
Yeah.
put it in the ink, they
Well.
sign it and then don't touch it.
Exactly.
When it
Perfect.
dries, the next one signs it.
Right. So now what we're gonna do, let's make sure that she can come back in, because it has a very difficult code. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
My luggage has the same combination as that.
Pardon me?
My luggage is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh yeah, only very smart people use complicated things. Are you okay?
Yeah. well,
Good, thank you. So, now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna discuss, this is a very important thing, this is gonna tie in with the various, but why do classical musicians say this? Why do we say this? You know, the people think there's a lot of incompatibility in the world of music and speaking and defining terms, intervals, chords. There's many ways. Okay. Oh, thank you very much. You did not miss anything. We're just starting right now, and we're talking about the theory of intervals and how sometimes, because let's say you're in America, music teachers here or jazz musicians have a different way of classifying and explaining things. In Europe, classical musicians have a different way of notating. So this is almost like a universal method of understanding any kind of definition. From now on you will understand it. So please open to page, where are we? Page 11. So part 2, 10 definitions of an interval. And please, if you have a question, interrupt me. If you have a comment, a question. If you do not understand anything, or if you have some other idea. Pitch, also known as degree. Are you with me? Yeah, perfect. I'm reading over here, right?
Right.
Page 11. Pitch, also known as degree, frequency, note, step, or tone, is one of the 4 properties of a musical sound. The pitch of a sound, the height of a sound, can be lower or higher in relationship to other sounds. So, this is the pitch. Is this note here higher or lower in relationship to this note?
Lower.
Lower.
Logical. This is logical thinking, so it's not about I know music. So if this is my pitch, is this note higher or lower in relationship to this note?
It's higher.
Right. So that's a very important concept. The relationship between notes.
Right.
Just like chase band relationships matter, right? So, going back here. The other 3 properties, a sound cannot exist, again a parentheses. A sound cannot exist unless it has 4 properties. These are part of the study of the laws of acoustics, sound. In order to have a sound, you need pitch. The bird, you have to have a sound. If you don't speak, I don't hear you. It doesn't matter how loud the sound is. The sound cannot be loud if it doesn't exist. So you need to have a pitch, a sound, right? Property 1. Property 2 is how loud is it? Or is it?
Distance.
So when we say piano, forte, loud, soft, that's part of the second quality of a sound. Volume or loudness of sound. The third property, it has to last, so you can hear it with your ears, even if it's very quick, but it must exist, otherwise it's silence. Or it can last 5 days. So that's called duration. And in duration, you have rhythm, tempo, all the things that have to do with speed and things like that. And the last thing that you need to have is the source of the sound. Who made that sound? David. That's called the timbre, the source. Who made this now? The piano. It sounds like a piano because that's called the timbre. Came from a saxophone, from a flute. The dog bark. There has to be a source that creates the pressure, that moves the waves. Here, 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 here. Otherwise, you cannot have a sound. So the sound has to have pitch, frequency. It has to have duration, at least a millisecond, so you can hear it. It has to have intensity, measured in decibels. Very, very loud. You destroy your ears. 80, 90 decibels, the airplane that takes off. Or very soft, you cannot hear it. And then it has to have a source. Who made that sound? These are the 4 properties of sound. So everything we're doing here has nothing to do with rhythm, duration, anything. It has to do only with sound, pitch. The whole study of ear training has to do with you being able to tell me this is, oh, it's a perfect fit, David, I know, because it's whatever. Oh, Diabolo si musica, it's the augmented form. Yeah, or the diminished fifth, it's the same thing upside down, right? So, the other 3 properties here are volume, blah, 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 blah. Notes at different heights, pitches of frequency. I'm showing you this over here. Do. I just put some symbolic notes. So any note that you represent is a pitch, is a frequency, right? Number 2, the distance between the notes. Now comes the interesting part. So sounds in themselves, it's not music. It's when there's a relationship between the sounds that creates tension. Like 2 people, Mike and myself, seem to get along. John and I have a friction. John and I could be ouch. Mike and I kind of, Masami and I are kind of, I don't know, Stephen would be kind of, Lois might be, just sing. Felicitas could be minor sound. So just
A motif.
a motif. So the way people have the same vibes, notes have vibes. This is an extraordinary subject for discussion. I give presentations to executives, business people that have nothing to do with music. They're music lovers like everybody else. But I explain that notes behave like people. And it has to do with frequencies. And we're all frequencies at the end of the day. If you have a good day, your vibes are good, the good molecules are kicking in, and you kind of get along with all the nice people that are like you. But if you have one of those cloudy days, you kind of don't get along with anybody. Same thing. So sounds behave the same way because it's frequency. Okay.
The mood.
So that's the interesting. So number 2, the distance. An interval, here you have the official definition from the dictionary. Number 2, an interval in music is the distance relationship established between any two sounds. They're also called degrees, frequencies, notes, steps, tones. Some people call frequency. What do you call frequency? Is that the same thing as no? Yes, there are many, many words to describe the same thing. So here's a relationship. That's a perfect octave, right? Major sixth, right? So when you link like a hi there, how you doing?
Doing good, yeah?
Good, good. We're having a little.
It's okay, just coming through.
Thank you so much. I'm David. What's your name?
Clarence.
Chris?
Clarence.
Oh, Clarence. Good to see you, sir.
Hi.
Good. So, when the interesting thing is, once you learn the intervals and you master all these things through little practice, you're gonna say. Perfect 4 going up, major second going up, minor second, the ouch interval, major third. So when you link certain Legos, intervals, they create melodies. Some melodies are boring. And that comes easy once you are interested in writing music or listening to music. Oh yeah, I can see. Major second, major a third, major second, major third, a second, major second, minor second, and they're all made of little pieces, all these interconnected Legos. So an interval is the distance between notes, and when you take the concept and you link many, moving to another solar system. Repetition of it, but that comes later. So, 3, semitone. This is very important. Semitone is the shortest interval or the smallest interval. So any of those ouch intervals those are, the distance is a semitone.
A half step.
Or a half step. A semitone is the smallest interval. It is the shortest distance between two note sounds in the well-tempered music system. I'm waiting for someone to say, what is the well-tempered music system?
What is the well-tempered
Thank
music
you.
system?
You're a smart guy. You get a sticker today. So, make it simple. You can Wikipedia this. The world as we know it did not have. This is a man-made invention. The evolution of music for a couple of thousand years, dividing the scale in 12 equal parts. The culmination is the giant Johann Sebastian Bach, who wrote the very famous Das Wohltemperierte Klavier, the preludes and fugues in all 24 major minor scales. He wrote that to demonstrate that you can make music from any key, major, minor. So he wrote a whole collection. You can listen to it on YouTube. It's all for piano, and this is the first one, the prelude and fugue. And the genius of this guy, he's showing us how he's working in the C major, Do major scale. Basically, he's laying out a map with chords that we're traveling to. Goes down a little bit to F. All he did is travel in the neighborhood of Do thought it was more fun than just gonna. So you can make variations of this. As a composer, as a student, we have to do variations, and we do. We can jazz it up. But the structure is the same. Now the genius of this guy, not recognized for almost 200 years until Brahms brought him out into life, he was forgotten, like a nobody. Listen to the top of the melody. What melody is that? So, the melody on top, that's the kind of genius he was. Not only did he write the music that's so beautiful, he embedded a melody on top. That's the famous Ave Maria.
Oh, yeah.
It's just fascinating. That's the melody on top. If you string the notes on top of this chord, that's the famous Ave Maria. Now that's mind blowing. I mean, when I was
Probably the Old Testament, they refer to the well-tempered clavier as the Old Testament.
Yeah, that's good. I never heard that.
Beethoven did that.
Why?
Did he?
Well, they refer to Bach, the
Yes.
well-tempered clavier as the Old Testament, and some of the things that Beethoven did is the New Testament.
That's fascinating. You know something? I'm a pretty old guy. I never heard that. So thank you.
Kind of a slang, but yeah, I think it's.
That's fine. You could refer to it like that.
Tempered has to do with tuning.
Okay, so tempered has to do with tuning. Yeah, I kind of flew away from that talking about Bach. I opened up too many parentheses inside the equation. So
Tuning only.
I'm sorry. So the natural way of tuning before we had the well-tempered clavier divided exactly into 12 parts was a system that the notes were not exactly the word they're supposed to be. The Arabian system divides the octave in 17 parts. So they have microtones that we do not use. So it's mostly melodic. That's why you hear all that fluctuation in their singing. Because for them, or Indian system of dividing the scale is not in 12 equal parts. So about that you can read more on Wikipedia. I just don't want to, we have a little time. But this can be discussed. Pardon me?
That's why I didn't say.
Yeah, but I wanted to put someone say, what is the well-tempered clavier? So a semitone is the smallest interval, is the shortest distance between any two notes. So if you look at the piano this way, you see the black keys here. Don't look at the whites because that's not the real distance. That's the chromatic scale. The distance between any two notes is called a semitone. It's the shortest distance, right? Good. So it is also called the minor second interval. You know, the shark song. Or the Fiorellis. Right? Now, the next thing, what is a chromatic semitone? Number 4. A chromatic semitone is the shortest distance between two notes with the same name plus an alteration. So, this is do sharp. That's called chromatic because it's color. Right? It's the same note, but when you go up, you just put a sharp next to it. They call it chromatic. You colored it. Did you understand? Now, number 5, a diatonic semitone. It's a semitone. It's the shortest distance between two notes with different names that sound the same. So do, re flat is called a diatonic semitone. You gotta learn that. There's no two ways about it. So when the note is the same, do sharp, it's chromatic, colored. It's the same name. When it's two different names, do, re, flat, it's called diatonic. Just gotta remember it. Dia in Greek means two, different. That's dia. That's what I mean. Now, number 6. We already studied this. Number 6 as in number 6 here. Here. We studied that, right? We already know this. Two semitones are in harmonic. when they sound identical but use different names. Each has different harmonic values and tensions, resulting in different ways of resolving these harmonic tensions. A chromatic semitone, the augmented prime, like this is do, 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 do sharp, it's an augmented prime because I made it larger by a semitone, right? Do, do sharp, you see the example? But
It's like E sharp.
but do, re flat is also an harmonic. It sounds the same. One is a diatonic, one is a chromatic semitone, but they're enharmonic. They sound the same, but they have different values.
Same pitch, but different.
Same pitches, but one wants to go up, the other one.
A good example would be E sharp and F.
E sharp.
Between E and F's half step, and then
Yeah,
between
so
E sharp. and-
The idea is that you understand what enharmonic means.
Right, right.
That's the whole point. Chromatic tone now. The same principle applies from chromatic semitone. A chromatic tone is made of two chromatic semitones. That means the same name applies. It is the double augmented prime, and it is rarely used, probably never. So if you play C sharp would be a chromatic semitone. Two semitones equals a tone. So that would be C double sharp, but that's C do sharp. It's just a matter of logical thinking. Nobody uses a double augmented prime. It's just a matter of understanding the concept. Chromatic is the same note, but it goes up a step or down a step, but it repeats it. So do sharp is chromatic semitone. Do re flat, it's a diatonic because they're two different notes. Do re flat. So that's what you have to understand.
That'd be a double sharp.
Yeah, an X is a double sharp in music.
Yeah.
So a chromatic tone and two chromatic semitone. A diachromatic tone is made of one diatonic semitone with one chromatic semitone, the major second interval. So C do is a diachromatic tone. That means C do is one semitone, which is diatonic, but the next one, do sharp, is a chromatic semitone. Did you see that at number 8? I'm playing what's written on the staff. So number 8 again, I'm playing the notes. C, do sharp, that's a major second. It is defined as made of one diatonic semitone and one chromatic semitone. It also known as the diachromatic tone. So next to it, I put equal to explain why is it made C, do sharp. It's made of one diatonic semitone, C, do, and then do sharp, one chromatic semitone. Does everybody understand that? So, look at the piano. C, do, that's a diatonic because you're using two different notes. Do sharp, it's chromatic because it's the same note with two different names. So this interval, C, do, a major second, it's made of a diatonic semitone and a chromatic semitone, that distance. So we call that chromatic. Yes, nobody's gonna ask you about this. Number 9, diatonic tone. And we're almost done. A diatonic tone is made of two diatonic semitones. We were at number 9. Two diatonic semitones. It is the diminished third interval and it is rarely used.
Tapos, anong mag-practice na tayo?
Like C, Re flat, rarely used. It's made of C, Do, which is a diatonic semitone, and Do, Re flat is a diatonic semitone.
Hindi ko maalam ang music.
And the last one, we have the enharmonic tone.
Okay, 3:30 ako dyan.
The enharmonic tone is like the enharmonic semitone. They sound identical but have different names. We're at number 10, the enharmonic tone. A chromatic tone and diachromatic tone and diatonic tone are enharmonic with each other. Each has different harmonic values and tensions, resulting in different ways of resolving these harmonic tensions. So let's look at the notes, just for the purpose of these 3 tones, intervals are enharmonic. So C double and C double sharp. It sounds and is basically C, Do sharp. So it can be written as C double sharp. C, C, Do sharp, that's a major second, and then it can be a diminished third or a diatonic tone. So that's the definition of an enharmonic tone, when it sounds with itself in three different definitions: chromatic, diachromatic, and diatonic. Anyway, let's try to finish up with singing the last part of the C major. We'll do the 7th chord and the 9th chords. The 9th chords have no inversions because they're already very complex. 9 chords means 5 notes, so we're not doing, it's not necessary, only the 7 chords. So now we're going back to the previous manual from last week, and we should be at page 64. And all of you can email me questions or observations or anything that you'd like to tell me. So let's go to page 64. I'm going to read the top, part 7, building 5, 9th chords in root position only in the major natural note. Page 64, 64. Thank you. Perfect. On the left side, we start right here. Ready? So I'm going to say major chord with a major 7, and we're at the 9th chords. My bad. Sorry. We should be at the 7 chords. Page 47, please.
47?
47, please. I jumped at the 9 chords. So page 47. So it's part 6, building 4 7th chords in 4 positions each. Just as with 3 notes, we can have 3 rotations. With 4 notes, you can have 4 rotations. So that's what we're going to sing now. So major chord, the tonic, in root position. Do, mi, sol, si, sol, mi, do. Listen, close, open. First inversion. Mi, sol, si, do, si, sol, mi. Third page. Second inversion. Now in third inversion, si, do, mi, sol, sol, mi, do, si. The same major chord with a major 7 on step 4, the subdominant in root position and first inversion. Closed. First inversion.